Hey, kids. This is a tasty burger. Burger.
Alright guys, so I want to take a little bit of time and show you how to make a multiple exposure in Photoshop. Now if you're using Pixlr or GIMP, it's going to be very similar. Also, when you guys get into class, you'll be using Photoshop in here. So I want you guys to really see how Photoshop works. I know there's going to be some differences and some little nuances in what makes things work, but that's okay. So we'll have to just figure those out as we get there. My goal today is to go ahead and combine multiple layers together to make a new digital piece of artwork. We're making altered environments, fantasy scapes, fantasy landscapes, things like that, using some of your own photos and some photos you've taken from the internet or photos you've taken at some other point in the past couple years. And I'm going to show you guys how to merge all those together. Okay, so go ahead, take a look at this over here. So this here is a collection of images I'm going to start merging together. Now I might need some more in process. I'm going to try not to, things like that. Okay, so these are my photos I've selected. Some are photos I've taken, some are photos I've taken from the internet. Most of them are photos I've taken from the internet at the moment. Over here in Photoshop is a canvas I'm going to work on. So first thing I'm going to do is take and drag and drop this first image right here onto my canvas. Now it's probably, there you go, not too bad. So here's what I want to do. We'll just put it here for now. Check mark. Okay. I'm going to zoom in. What I really want is this lantern to be a little bit more in the middle here. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to right click over here. Now in Photoshop you have to rasterize images. So I'm going to right click on that image, rasterize it. I'm going to right click and duplicate. Okay. Because I might want to use some of the other content in there. So I'm going to go ahead and grab what I like to use is the quick select tool, which might be a little tricky given that everything is white and contrasty. So it might make what we're doing a little more difficult. We'll find out here in a second. There we go. Got most of that. I'm going to get some of this path over here. Some of this foreground content. I do like this tree a whole bunch here. I'm going to get the take away quick select, so that would be all this river. Again, this is a little tricky given it's all snow. Okay. I'm going to right click, I'm going to click the magic wand tool, and that's going to, oh, nope, undo that. Let's go back to the quick select tool. Now, how good your selections look really does take some time to sit and manipulate and work with these. It's an important task to really take your time to get it done right. Oh, and I want this lantern here. Let's get the lamp. And I did not pick something easy to auto select given this is all just white snowiness. There we go. I'm going to do control copy, control paste. So now I have this here. Okay. Grab my arrow tool. I'm going to go ahead and move this over here to the center. Now I'm going to grab stuff that, I'm going to grab my eraser tool. I like to use a soft tool. Okay. Now in Photoshop I can change the opacity. So I'm only going to erase a little bit away. So see this here, this is what we call 26% opacity, while this here at 100% takes it off much, much faster. Okay. So I'm going to go back down here to 30. So I'm going to blend some of this stuff together here, and you might be saying, well, wait a minute. Actually, we're gonna zoom in. Now I have a plan already where this is gonna go. I've also made these adjustments so this is a little more pixelated than I prefer. I did that just so I could use other internet photos and not have a discrepancy between high resolution and low resolution. So I made everything a little bit more blurry than I prefer. Okay, right click, gonna use a hard paintbrush, shrink it down, there we go, 100% opacity. There's my wife and kids. There we go. Make sure I get right here. Perfect. Well, do that. Okay. So now if I bring back my background, you can see here I've got multiple bridges, multiple paths, and it's so messy, it all blends together very well. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a new picture. Grab this picture of Mr. Tumnus right here. And we're going to put that in there. Oh, that's a big picture. We'll say yes. I also have to right click, rasterize this one. And I'm going to shrink that picture down a bit. Okay, now in a layer, I can grab this layer and move it up. So I'm gonna hit check mark here. So that's a Photoshop thing. You always have to constantly be choosing or confirming any changes you make. I'm gonna go ahead and move this layer behind this layer. Okay, so that way, Mr. Tumnus and his doorway, I'll be right there. Okay, now I'm going to Control T. Oh, whoa, wait, whoa. That's too much fun. Control T. Control T on Photoshop allows you to make adjustments to transform your image. Okay, Mr. Thomas is going to go right about here. Okay, we're going to shrink it up just a little bit more. Just like that there. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab, I'm going to go back to the layer above, which is this pathway. And now I'm just going to erase away content that I don't really need. Now I'm going to go ahead, go back to the soft brush. So it's a little bit feathered, so it's not just a hard edge. Turn down the opacity just to kind of hide some of those issues there. Okay, perfect. All right, so now I'm going to zoom out. Okay. I'm going to select multiple layers so I can move everything down low here. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and do some rough work here. I'm going to try to put some other pieces into this. Oh my gosh. There. And just start kind of blocking some things out. So I want to bring in this photo here. Okay, so you see how that worked so well because I had all these already cut out, right, from the background. So right click, rasterize. So again, if I hide this layer, okay, I sandwiched it between a couple other layers. Let me just show you all my layers here. Okay, so first layer was this. If But now I have this as my first layer, plus Mr. Tumnus, and then on top of that, this here. Now, because I want some ground in the front, I'm going to bring the background up, and there we go. All right, and I can kind of blend this together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this layer here, grab my eraser tool. I'm going to cut some holes in this one. So I have the opacity kind of low. Like that. There you go. And so what I did there, if we hide this background here, you can see, and this one here, all I did is erase away a little bit here. I even hide this here. So you can see it just kind of erased a little bit here, erased a little bit here. So when I put this image behind it, it kind of blends together. We get this hard line here, but if I bring this back, that hides that. Okay, so now we got that here. I will need to go through and start erasing away around Mr. Tumnus here to make that kind of blend in and look a little more natural. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on that right now. Okay, so this is this. Oh, stop that. Okay, so I'm going to grab this layer here, grab my eraser again. I'm going to grab the picture of Mr. Tumnus here. Oh, there's some weird stuff that I had left over. Now, if you don't want to use a circle brush to erase, now watch this. I can go ahead and pick some very unusual brushes. For example, I'm going to pick this kind of broken, chunky brush here. Now when I erase, it's not a nice even circle. In fact, it's really choppy, and it kind of helps me blend things together. I'm going to grab this picture of Mr. Tumnus here. You can see, and kind of erase a little bit of that away and show some of this background information here. Okay. Now see, I'm not erasing on the lantern. That is because the lantern is on a different layer. I'm going to go ahead and increase my opacity so I take away more content quicker. Now see how this tree here kind of matches this little hill right here, this little chunk of snow. So I'm going to use that natural angle. There you go. That natural angle of that rock there to kind of just help blend it all together a little bit. Erase that content right back over here. Now I'm going to click on this layer here. I'm going to zoom in right over here. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I'm going to keep using that same eraser tool, just like this. Now in Photoshop, I can rotate my brushes to get the angle I want. Okay. I'm not sure if you can do that in Pixlr, but you can do it in Photoshop. So I'm going to go ahead, fit the screen. So there we go. We've got this character right here. He's kind of walking into this cave. Now I want this tree here to kind of blend into the mist. So I've got to click this layer here. I'm going to grab my eraser again. However, this time I'm going to go back to just a circle. Okay. A little bit bigger there. Take the opacity. Turn it way down. So I'm going to kind of erase this away until it matches the fog that we've got. There we go. I just want a little bit. There it is. Okay. All I did there was thin that out, thin that out, thin that out. All right. So here we go. Right click, fit on screen. So now let's keep adding to our unusual little piece of artwork here. So now I need some mountain peaks. Specifically, I'm going to take these mountain peaks and see what we get. Oh, those are tiny mountain peaks. There we are. Check mark. I'm going to come back over here. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Over here, I'm going to grab this scary monster here. Put him in right. Oh, he's a big scary monster. Like that. Check mark. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to move. I have to rasterize these. Again, in Photoshop, you just right click, go to rasterize, and that allows you to manipulate images. I'm going to move them behind this last one here. Just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to go to this layer here. Okay. I'm going to grab my eraser tool. I'm going to get a real messy eraser like I was using. Rotate it a bit. I wonder. Now, I do have some cloud erasers, but not on this particular computer, so I'll just take this. I'm actually going to use the circle again. Go ahead and make that bigger. Oh my goodness, nope. Let's turn the opacity up a little bit. I'm just breaking this up a little bit. Now I am going to do some reverse work, and I'm going to come through and put some more fog on here. Okay, so I'm going to make this brush a little bit bigger. I'm going to take the opacity, turn it down just a little bit more. Oh, that is too much. Okay, a little bit like that. So now I'm going to grab the paintbrush just to kind of add some fog here. You want to make sure you guys match your color as well. In Photoshop, there's a little eyedropper tool here. Whatever I click on, it will pick that color for me. You can see up here in the corner. So I'm going to go ahead and pick my gray here. I'm going to pick the paintbrush. Okay. I can also turn down how intense that is, how much opacity is there. So I'm going to add just a little paint. Now what I need to do, I'm going to make a new layer. So I'm going to go Layer, New Layer. And I'm going to write white paint. Okay, that's my white paint layer. And I'm just going to go ahead and just paint a little bit on here so I can make this look a little bit. I need to hide this guy. Get out of here. There we go. Hide him. Put a little more fog on the trees there. I don't want him as apparent. So I'm not actually erasing. I'm actually literally painting white on him. Okay. This is some of that stuff we can do to help unify our imagery. I'm going to bring a little bit more of this cloud down in here. Again, I'm not painting or I'm not erasing anything. I'm just literally bringing in white paint and painting it, making it just a little bit more foggy. Okay, so now let's put some sky in here. I'm going to grab this guy here. Notice I'm not just cutting things out. A lot of it I'm just blending together. Now there is a little bit too much line right here, so I'm going to paint away some of that line. Good. Come down here. I'm going to grab my creepy sky. Put my creepy sky. Oh, perfect. Okay, so there's my creepy sky. I'm going to right click, rasterize, and I've got my eraser tool here. And we're going to crank up that opacity. Oh, that's too much. Okay. Come down here, grab this one here. Oh no, here's our castle. Okay, notice I've got some of this foggy mess right here. And some of this foggy mess up here. That is some of the cloud I put in the paint layer, which I'm going to add some more paint to. So I'm going to grab my paintbrush tool. Hide this castle in a little more fog. And then I'm just going to kind of lighten this up here a little bit. Okay, so now, I thought about putting the moon in there. I might not put the moon in there. Okay, I'm going to take this ice here. There's a reason for this ice. Perfect. What I'm going to do, I'm going to rotate this here. Notice it's on top of everything. Oh, look at that. It's got check marks on it. Because I plagiarized it. Let's see what happens here. So, right-click, rasterize. So, whenever you're doing Photoshop, you can, right over here, there is a little tiny window that says Normal. This is how one layer interacts with another layer. If it's normal, it's like paper on top of paper. If you change it, it'll blend differently. This is your blend options. I'm going to do Lighten. Nope. Darken? Nope. Nope. No. Multiply is not terrible. Nope. Nope. No. That screen. Light and color. I don't mind that one. Overlay. It's not bad. Oh, soft light. I might be able to work with soft light here. That looks cool, but no. Also looks cool, but no. Interesting, but no. Hue is interesting, but it turned Mr. Tumnus purple. We're going to do Lighten. We're going to do Soft Light. And then I'm going to take the opacity and turn it down. Here. That's just going to kind of give a little bit of crustiness to it. Now I'm going to grab my eraser tool. And all I did with that purple there, or that blue, those crystals, is just kind of give my picture a little more texture. And now I'm going to take a gradient. So here's my gradient tool. I'm going to pick a dark, moody blue. Hit OK. No. Make a new layer. Layer new. Layer. Grade. This is going to be my gradient. I'm going to make a gradient right here. Nope. I want to go the other way. Like the blue. And then I'm going to pick. Nope. Kind of like that. Don't like that. Don't like that. Don't like that. Nope. 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 These are different blending options here. That one's fun. No. Yeah, Mr. Tumnus is still orangish colored. That's not. There we go. That kind of softened it up a little bit. Now let's do it. I'm just adding some blue into my bottom section here. Okay, now some of my favorite stuff here. I'm going to grab my paintbrush. Good, and okay. Now in my particular Photoshop, I have spent a lot of time customizing it and making it my own. So that means pass it down a little bit. Now I'm going to grab the paintbrush. It's going to be our last touch here. Soft, round. There we go. Just going to get a nice gray hue. Take the opacity and turn it way down. Just kind of grand things out a little bit. Put a little vignette effect up there. All right, there we go. Okay. All right, guys, so that is about it. That was 13 layers. Quite a few layers, quite a few elements where you're trying to blend everything together, blend it together, blend it together, blend it together, so that you can take all these disjointed images that kind of relate and you fuse them together. Now notice I didn't have to work with shadows. I was trying to make one where it was so blurry and messy, I didn't have to worry about shadows being anything. I also didn't have to worry about little tiny pieces being cut out just right. So that's why I was trying to hide tips of trees, inside clouds and things like that. So one tip that I'd give you would be to think about layers you can put over the top, like a big color or a filter, so that you can help blend all those images together smoothly with a sepia tone or a blue tone or a warm tone, things like that. That can really help. So here's a look at the final image. Kind of cool. All right, guys, good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.